What's going on, everyone? So right now I'm about to bring you guys my Lair Darkness Masked Hero deck profile. I made a poll on my community tab asking you guys which deck you guys want to see first, either my Monarch Lair Darkness deck or my Heroes Lair Darkness deck. And surprisingly, everyone wanted the Hero Lair Darkness deck. Everyone's like, Monarchs is too normal. Everyone's doing the Monarch Lair Darkness, so we want to see what the Hero version of the deck looks like. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys just that. I'm going to just do the main deck and extra deck. No side deck yet, mainly due to the fact that we're going to get a ban list probably within the next week or two, depending on whenever Konami wants to drop it. Probably after YCS Memphis, they want to drop the ban list. So with that being said, this deck may or may not change post ban list, and the side deck will reflect on that. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with the main deck. Then we're going to go into the extra deck, and then I'll talk about why the deck, I think the deck is pretty solid. Fun deck for the format, definitely a tier 2 deck on the lower end of competitive play, but it can catch the opponent off guard when it is cheesing pretty good, as you guys would say. So 3 Darkest Diablos, King of the Lair. You run 3 mainly because he's an Allure Darkness target, but also he's the boss monster of the deck. You guys already know his effect pretty much reads. He can be Kaiju'd, and then his second effect is, if a dark monster you control is tributed, except during a damage step, you can special summon him from your graveyard. And then you can tribute a dark monster to place 1 card from your opponent's hand and either top or bottom of the deck. So he's an overall good boss monster. He's hard to get rid of, 3K beater. Nothing more to be said about him. Solid overall. I mean, you guys know what he does. Every Yu-Gi tuber we've been talking about this deck. So next up, hero cards. 1, 2 Shadow Mist, and not 3. Shadow Mist, unfortunately, is the only hero worth running in this deck because he does add the mass change to from your deck to your hand, which allows you to make Dark Law. But he's good for what he's do. He's dark, he's 1,000 attack, 1500 defense, special summon, add mass change. So yeah, pretty good. 2 Summoner Monk now. Summoner Monk is definitely for Shadow Mist, but it's also good for your Arima. I'll talk about that in a minute, but 2 Summoner Monk, you can open up a spell, him and a spell, pitch it, bring out Shadow Mist, set up your Dark Law. Then you can, if you get your virus traps, you can set up your Lair Darkness plays with Dark Law, which is pretty nutty once you get it off. So I think Monk overall is just pretty good because you can do some crazy plays with him in his deck. And then of course the 3 Lilith. Some variants in the OCG only run 2 Lilith, some variants only run 1. I think Lilith is definitely a 3 of. Her effect just normal summoning to become 1,000 and you tributing herself or another dark monster to reveal 3 normal trap cards from your deck. Opponent picking 1 is definitely a solid card. Overall, stable for the deck. I mean, there's nothing more to be said about her other than her sexy little demonic artwork right there. The next up, we got 3 Rama, the Wicked Warden. So he, a lot of builds don't run this. I don't know why, but you definitely pitch him to add the Lair Darkness because that's his effect. But I've discovered with doing some test draws, you can go Monk into him, use his effect to tribute off Monk, and then go ahead and add your Darkest Diablos Lord of the Lair. Because Monk special summons level 4, it doesn't negate the effect. And then his effect pretty much reads, you can tribute 1 dark monster to draw 1 card, or if you tributed a dark monster other than this card to activate this effect, you can add 1 dark monster with 2,000 more defense from your deck to your hand instead. You can only use this effect of him once per turn. So you can if you don't have your Darkest Diablos, you can Monk him, tribute off Monk, add your Darkest Diablos that way, which is pretty dope. Then him being a consistency card is another reason why you want to run him at 3. Then I have my hand traps to run off the monsters. So 1 Ash Blossom and 3 Effect Veilers. If I had the 3 Ash, I would definitely run 3 Ash and 1 Veiler, but I don't, so I'm running the opposite way of 3 Veilers and 1 Ash. You definitely need his hand traps for this format. This deck is pretty good, and hand traps don't really hurt you. But with that being said, all the other decks currently right now, like Pendulums and etc., people who still want to run Spirals, and hand traps are just solid against that. So overall, this is the 4 hand traps. I don't think you need to go crazy with it. Now for the traps, because deck runs a lot of them. 1, 2 Mind Crush, combos well with Dark Law, combos well with your virus cards. 2 Back to the Front. Now I like the Back to the Front because not only do you want to get back here Shadow Mist to add that mass change to make a Dark Law again, you can get back Monk and do some crazy plays with him. You can get back Lilith. You can get back Wicked Warden and use their effects to tribute off. If you got the Lair on the field, it's just a bonus. So overall, it's a solid pick. for a card to run in this deck. And then you can always get back Darkus Diablos, which is cool, and start doing some nasty plays with him. So I think it's a good card to run. Nothing more to be said. One Metaverse now. This card jumped up in price, which is crazy. I called it a long time ago how good this card was going to be when this deck came out. Take one field spell from your deck and either activate it or add it to your hand. It's solid, but the main reason why it's so good, because literally you can open up this and a virus card and play it, activate Lair of Darkness, and then activate, like, say for example, Green Grave Virus, and completely screw the opponent over. So next up, 3 Grinning Grave Virus, the virus card that no one is running for whatever reason. I like it. My buddy said be careful using against dinosaurs, and that's cool and all, but tribute 1 dark monster with 3,000 or less attack. That line, let alone, makes this card, in my opinion, more playable than the rest of them. Yeah, the other virus cards can technically win you games, and you would, and I am moving forward with this deck, gonna play the other virus cards in the side deck, but for consistency purposes, for a 9 to 10 round event, this is definitely the card you want to go to. So you tribute 1, 3,000 less attack. Your opponent destroys 1 card of their choice from their hand or their deck for every 2,000 or more attack to activate every 500 attack the monster had rounded up before it's tributed. If you tribute a monster with 2,000 more attack, you can look at your opponent's draws until in turn and destroy all monsters among them, and like a crush card virus. So yeah, this is pretty solid for what it does, and I think it's worth running because you can make Dark Claw, tribute off your Dark Claw, go off. If your opponent wants to just try to spam to the field, like with while you have Metaverse down, activate Metaverse, tribute that. You can just mess up their plays that way. Really can screw with their consistency of their deck. So yeah, man, Grinning Grave Virus. I like it a lot. Running at 3 for mainly consistency. And ran off the traps and 1 Solemn Judgment because that Dark Claw is good, and Solemn Judgment is just a broken card in my personal opinion. Now for the spells. I don't know, I just had them out of order like that. So 3 Lair of Darkness, really good. This is the card that you want to run for your deck and all your decks. All face-up monsters on the field becomes dark. Once per turn, if you attribute a monster you control to activate a card effect, even though you do not control it, you can tribute 1 dark monster your opponent controls. Once per turn during the end phase, special summon as many torment tokens to the field to the turn player's field up to the number of monsters tributed at that turn. That second part is really good because if you tribute a lot on your turn, which you probably won't, after doing some test draws, you usually may get 1 or 2 tributes. You can get tokens to your board, which you can use for link plays, and then you might give your opponent tokens, but once you start screwing up their consistency, there's not going to be a lot that they can do about that. Definitely a good card to run. Very fun card to run too. I can't wait to take this to locals and get some games in. I will definitely be recording some games with this deck at locals, so be on the lookout for those videos as well. 2 Cosmic Cyclone for some back row destruction. Now, this would have been Twin Twister, but I personally, after doing some test draws, I noticed my hand count was low, but I had a big field count. So I didn't think Twin Twister was going to be worth running in this deck. So that's why I decided to run a Cosmic Cyclone. Not because it's pretty, but because it works. This deck has a hard time keeping a hand. So I want to make sure I minimize pitching cards by using cards like Cosmic Cyclone. 2 Pot of Desires. I think Pot of Desires is really great in this deck. You run it in Heroes, even though Heroes is a combo-oriented deck, but the deck does need hand control, hand power, so same thing with this deck, same concept. You're gonna run 2 Pot of Desires just for hand power. And by the way, I will be doing some test draws at the end of this video. I'll just do like 1 test draw, maybe 1 or 2 test draws to show you guys the consistency of this deck. Then 3 Allure Darkness for consistency, draw a card. There's nothing to say about that. 2 Mass Change for consistency. I tested the 3 during my test draws. 3 was clunky, 2 seems to be pretty good, and then I round off the Hero Engine with the 2 Hero Lives, because if you open up Hero Lives, it just pluses your hand up a lot. Just hope they don't have the Ash Blossom and you're good to go. Now, keep in mind, the extra deck is pretty good, but you really only use your Dark Claw and your this stuff out of your extra deck. Most of it is just fluff, but I do believe in having an extra deck, so which is why I just maxed out on stuff I thought was cool. 3 Dark Claws. You guys can make this extra deck your own based on how you want to play the deck. 1 Anki. Anki still solid. 1 Baguska, 1 Castel, 1 Diamond Dyer, 1 Abyss Dweller. Old cards, you guys know what to do. Proxy Dragon, Ib. You may or may not use these, but if the situation arises where you have your tokens or you just want to bring up your monsters, you can use them. Firewall Dragon, Top Llama Bomber Dragon. Once again, same concept. you do a lot of tributing and you can bring them out, you can bring them out. But more likely, you won't be able to bring them out. Underclock Taper and Link Karibo. Now, Link Karibo, ironically enough, you probably will be bringing out more than anything else in this deck, mainly because we are running the back to the front and we are running the effect veiler. So if you want to go a little cheeky play of back to the front in your effect veiler, you can make Link Karibo, and if you have Lair Darkness on the board, instead of tributing himself to negate an attack, I believe you can tribute an opponent's monster to use this tribute effect. Let me know in the comment section down below, because if you can, that's broken. If you can't, oh well, it's still a dark and it's still pretty good to have in this deck. All right, guys, so right now, I'm just gonna do it like I'm doing all my deck profiles now. Show you guys a little test draw of how the deck is. Like I said, this is definitely a fun deck. It's not meant to be taken too seriously, but I don't know the power of the deck yet, so it might surprise me when I take the locals on Monday and be better than what I think it is. So let me go ahead and do that real fast. Also, YCS Memphis is going on this weekend. I think the Lair Darkness capabilities will go based on how the results will be at YCS Memphis. By the way, if you guys want me to do a recap for that YCS, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll get that recap done tomorrow for you guys. So I'm just gonna do one little power shuffle, pretend like I'm at a tournament, they're gonna cut. And let's see how the hand is gonna be. Cosmic Cyclone, Effect Veiler, Ash Blossom, Hero Lives. Not bad, okay? We have a Hero Lives, we have hand traps, you got Cosmic Cyclone. If we're going first, we would definitely Hero Lives, obviously. Make your Shadow Mist, and then grab your Mass Change, and then set that. Then you pitch that for Lair Darkness. But you might just hold it like that, let people think you're playing heroes. You can set that and pass. Then your following turn, you can just say you just made it Dark Law or whatever. And next to draw cards. You're pretty good. I like that hand. I like that hand. Let's do one more draw hand that we can get up out of here. So that was definitely a solid hand. Hand traps with Dark Law. You can save your Lair Darkness engine for later, catch the opponent off guard. Let's try this hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, not a bad hand, not the best hand, but it's not a bad hand. You would just go him, play Lair Darkness, set that pass. Opponent tries to do something funny. You can Mind Crush, but for the most part, you're in a good position. All right, guys, so post your thoughts and opinions about this deck in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you haven't. If you guys have any ideas how to improve this, let me know. This is InnovationYGO, and I'm signing out. Peace, guys, and stay innovative. Deuces.